Have you ever heard of a diminished unison? If you already know some music theory, you'll recognize this name for an interval, the distance between two notes. But what if I told you that although it correctly follows the way we name intervals, the diminished unison is impossible? It doesn't exist. One of my theory professors, Richard Devore, calls this non-interval the black hole of music theory. So let's explore this dark corner where music theory collapses in on itself. This is MusicCorner, your source for nerdy thoughts on music. I'm David Kulma. If you know your interval names, you'll know one called the perfect fifth. An easy way to make a perfect fifth is to choose two notes 7 half steps apart. So if we start on C and go up 7, we get G. Nice and simple. Or is it? If we start on B instead, we get the black key above F, which has two names, F sharp and G flat. Which one is it? Or does it even matter? Many musicians throughout history have treated these two note names sharing a piano key very differently. So we need to know the difference. The answer is F sharp, because B up to F sharp makes a fifth, and B up to G flat makes a sixth. The number term we give an interval, its size, is not based on half steps. It's based on note names. Adjacent note names are seconds. Both C up to D and C down to B are seconds, but they don't have the same number of half steps. C up to D is a major second, 2 half steps, while C down to B is a minor second, 1 half step. These new terms, major and minor, tell us an interval's quality. This is where half steps come into play. Major and minor are qualities for seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths. For unisons, fourths, fifths, and octaves, we use the term perfect instead. These are two separate systems. There are no major fourths or perfect thirds. Then what do we call B up to G flat? Let's compare this sixth with major and minor ones to find out. A major sixth is 9 half steps, which takes us from B up to G sharp. A minor sixth is 1 half step smaller, B up to G. B up to G flat is a half step smaller than this, so we need a new term. It's a diminished sixth. On the other side, a half step larger than a major sixth is an augmented sixth, B up to G double sharp. And before you think that this is just weird, know that augmented sixths help make awesome chords that signal important tonal moments. Both interval systems include diminished and augmented intervals, so why is the diminished unison impossible? There's an open space for it on the chart. Why doesn't it exist? To understand why, let's start with a perfect unison where both notes are the exact same G. If we move one note up a half step and call it G sharp, we get an augmented unison. Now if we start with the same perfect unison on G and move one note down a half step and call it G flat, we get another augmented unison. They are the same distance because they are both a half step bigger than a perfect unison. Does this confuse you? You're not alone. People new to intervals often conflate lowering a note with making an interval smaller. For example, if I take the major second C up to D, I can make this interval larger by moving the top note up or by moving the bottom note down. And I can make the interval smaller by moving the top note down or the bottom note up. You can move both the ceiling and the floor. And in the case of the unison, even if you put the ceiling below the floor, you still made a half-step sized room. It doesn't matter if the top note and the bottom note are switched, it is still a half-step and an augmented unison. A perfect unison has 0 half-steps, so a diminished unison would need a negative half-step, which is impossible in our musical system because interval space is like a mirror. Whether you go up or down, interval names are consistent as long as you go the right number of note names in half-steps. Therefore, the diminished unison does not exist. Maybe one day we can head toward this musical event horizon, go through this black hole, and arrive on the other side with negative intervals. That would be fun. But in the meantime, learn all your intervals for this universe. They're awesome. Thanks for watching MusicCorner. We just reached 400 subscribers. Thanks so much, everybody. If you haven't subscribed yet, do so now by clicking on the various subscribe buttons, including the floating logo in the bottom right corner of the video. And make sure you head over to the MusicCorner Patreon, where for as low as $1 a month, you get behind-the-scenes access to the making of these videos and the opportunity to help shape the future of this channel. I'll see you next week, music nerds, and remember, remembers is the wrong word.